Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the annual Prix Galien United Kingdom Awards Ceremony.
The Galien Foundation fosters, recognizes, and rewards excellence in scientific innovation to improve the human condition.
André Malraux said once in one of his novels, "Une vie humaine ne vaut rien, mais rien ne vaut une vie humaine." Human life is worth nothing, but nothing is worth a human life. All these men and women are trying to save human lives. Is there anything more noble than that?
Around the globe, the Prix Galien is considered as the equivalent of the Nobel Prize for the industry, mobilizing an unrivaled network of Nobel laureates and top biomedical scientists. The Galien Foundation manages an independent, cross-functional, and geographically diverse program of events and sponsorship to brand the best of the best in new medicines and diagnostics. It is a pleasure to congratulate all those who promote the Prix Galien and pharmaceutical research. They play a vital role in the fight against disease throughout the world. John Major, British Prime Minister, 1996. The Prix Galien is a welcome initiative to stimulate creative research and promote excellence. Barack Obama.
This is the right event, on the right issue, at the right time.
I thank His Excellency, the President, for bringing Prix Galien to Africa, and I look forward to the day when we will celebrate an African winner of the Prix Galien.
I'm particularly grateful to receive this award.
The awards are among the highest honors in science and commerce because they lead to improvement in the human condition.
The Prix Galien Awards recognize the world's brightest minds and most innovative companies. They are a true celebration of the hard work required to produce life-changing interventions.
That is what makes us optimistic about the future.
Congratulations to all of you.
Make a difference. Join the Galien Foundation.
As scientists, we live on the very edge between what is known and what is yet to be known, standing on the shoulders of giants to peer over the horizon, healing doubts as well as diseases. In the last 50 years alone, we've seen miracle babies who now have babies of their own, who may grow up never hearing the words smallpox, polio, measles, and live decades longer than their grandparents. Why? Because science. We witnessed a whole new body of medical advances that came from inside the human body itself. Because science. Heartbreaking quilts stopped being made. Artificial hearts started beating. SARS was contained and controlled. Whatever challenges humanity faces in the years ahead, the last 50 years shows us that we can prevail. And even diseases like COVID-19 will one day yield. Why? Because science.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Sir Mark WALPORT, Chair of the Prix Galien UK Committee.
Well, good evening everyone. This is a wonderful space in which to have an event like this. Under this extraordinary blue whale, who slightly looks as though he may be about to eat. Yes, exactly. You know who you are, but I think this one was a filter feeder actually, so you're probably fairly safe. Just seeing that film, talking about miracle babies, not miracles really, because a testament to extraordinary research. And just this week, people will have seen the announcement obtained by slightly curious means of a freedom of information request to a regulator, but the birth of babies who hopefully will not inherit the mitochondrial disease that would have devastated their young lives. And that again is through extraordinary, dedicated many years of research and the most careful ethical consideration. So welcome everyone, and thank you all for coming, and thank you to all of those who put in their nominations for the awards this evening. And of course, you don't want people like me to speak for too long, because at some point you want to know the outcomes. I will just mention, a number of you were at the session during the day, the Forum exhibition at that other remarkable museum, the Science Museum, just up the road from here. And I thought we had 4 really, really interesting discussion sessions discussing, a huge range of important topics. I want to start with a couple of reflections on last year's ceremony, which was the first of the ones to be held here. And the first of these, I'm afraid, is a rather sad recollection, because it was just last year we awarded a Galien Lifetime Achievement Award to Sir Michael Rollins, who was an enormously distinguished physician and clinical pharmacologist, who, in a quite remarkable career, chaired the Committee on Safety of Medicines, was the founding chair and set the tone of NICE, and served 2 terms as chair of the UK Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, the MHRA. And in all of these roles, he really transformed the quality of the regulation and the assessment of the efficacy of new drugs. And of course, on top of all his many activities, he supported the Prix Galien UK for more than a decade as the chairman of the UK committee. And very sadly, Michael Rollins died on the 1st of January this year, after a long and very happy life overall, and he was an extraordinary polymath. And anyone who read his obituary would have been amazed at the breadth of his activities. He was a very significant musician as well. But he will be much missed. So my second reflection is that last year I introduced this evening by noting that we meet here at an extraordinary moment of both need and opportunity. This year I think I need to qualify that introduction. It's not an extraordinary moment of both need and opportunity. It's an extraordinary period of need and opportunity. And I suspect that may require further qualification in future years, because I actually think it's going to be an era of need and opportunity. So the world is facing the largest populations in the history of humanity, just reached 8 billion people, plus or minus a bit, with all the demographic and social change that goes with that. So the great triumph of medicine of the 19th and 20th century, particularly of public health, is that more and more people around the world are living longer. And amidst all the misery, we shouldn't forget that most of the world's population live much longer and healthier lives than any previous generation. So whilst there are plenty of problems, there has been extraordinary progress. But the challenge, of course, is that although we live longer, we're ill for longer. So costs of healthcare are rising inexorably. And of course, the other challenge for particularly the richest countries in the world is that whilst elderly populations are increasing, the taxes that fund our health systems to a very significant extent largely come from the pockets of young people. And that's another huge challenge. And the dependency ratio, that ratio between people that need support from younger people, that ratio is going up as elderly people, the ratio of elderly people to younger increases. But this is definitely an evening for our cup to be at least 3/4 full. And on the opportunity side, the technologies contributing to health are absolutely amazing. I trained quite a long time ago now, and the changes that there have been during my lifetime in medicine have been astonishing and really, I think, very difficult to predict. I ended up at the Wellcome Trust in 2003, just as the first human genome had been sequenced. And that cost about $1 billion. It involved tens of thousands of people around the world. Who would have anticipated that the costs of that as technology for sequencing improved logarithmically, that cost would have come down to now within hundreds of dollars, although the actual informatics still costs quite a lot. And we are seeing the sort of post-genome sequencing science turning into powerful new health products. Early diagnostics, critical in COVID, personalized medicines. And this year it's clear that some rare and severe hereditary diseases are actually becoming curable. Last year, of course, vaccines were on the tips of everyone's tongue. But this year, it's artificial intelligence and the potential for this in healthcare, as I'm sure we'll hear a bit more from our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Tim Ferriss. The potential is massive. So almost everywhere we look, there is this amazing transformation. We're seeing devices. Radiologists can reach every part of the body with their clever tubes, and if they can't push them accurately, then robots are beginning to do it pretty well. Surgeons are augmenting their skills, and advanced structural biology is starting to transform medicinal chemistry and the amazing development of AlphaFold. But the challenge is to make all of this available at affordable prices to people across the world, and we had a whole session earlier today on the access question. And the fraction of expenditure devoted to health continues to grow. And when many economies are stressed, healthcare costs can't simply grow at the expense of all other expenditure. But tonight is a night of celebration. Tonight is an occasion to celebrate the innovation and huge contributions of a large and growing array of businesses and industries that contribute to human health. And I'm delighted that the Prix Galien recognizes these contributions, and I thank Bruno Cohen and his colleagues at the Foundation for all of their work in support of this prize. But most of all, I congratulate you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for everything you do, and thank you also to the people that made this evening happen so effectively, and to the prize committee that I have the privilege of working with. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to introduce the distinguished members of the 2023 Prix Galien UK Awards Judging Committee. Committee Chair, Professor Sir Mark WALPORT, Honorary Distinguished Professor of Medicine, Imperial College London. Dr. Jane Adam, Chair, NICE Technology Appraisal Committee and Consultant, St George's NHS Trust Professor. Professor Bruce Campbell, Honorary Vascular Consultant, the Royal Devon and Exeter Hospital, and Honorary Professor, the University of Exeter Medical School. Dr. Stephanie Cuckoo, Health Technology Director, Senior Consultant, Hardian Health, and Senior Advisor and Consultant, World Health Organization's Department of Digital Health and Innovation. Professor Sudesh Kumar, Dean of the Warwick Medical School, University of Warwick. Professor Sir Robert Lechler, Emeritus Senior Vice President for Health, King's College London. Professor Sir MUNIR PIRMOHAMED, David Weatherall, Chair of Medicine, University of Liverpool. Dame June Rain, Chief Executive, Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency. Professor Duncan Richards, Professor of Clinical Therapeutics, University of Oxford. Professor Liam SMYTH, Professor of Clinical Epidemiology and Director, the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. Professor Rosalind Smith, Professor of Child Health, UCL Great Ormond Street Institute of Child Health, and Vice Dean for Research, UCL Faculty of Population Health Sciences. Professor David Webb, Christison Chair of Therapeutics and Clinical Pharmacology, University of Edinburgh. Professor MOIRA WHYTE, Vice Principal and Head, the College of Medicine and Veterinary Medicine. Sir John Crofton, Professor of Respiratory Medicine, University of Edinburgh. Professor Elizabeth Williamson, Associate Professor in Medical Statistics, the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine.